Good afternoon. It is 12:37 p.m. and we are at the park meandering around. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. A lot. I continue to make them because I am flawed. We all are. That's why we need Jesus. I say this all the time, but life is made up of decisions. Every single day is choices. Choices. What are you going to eat for breakfast? Are you going to eat? What time are you going to get to work? Are you going to get there early? Are you going to get there on time? Are you going to be late? Are you going to call out sick? It's all made up of choices. But how do you know if you're making the right decisions? If you're making the right choices? I've made a few decisions recently that I have come to find out are the wrong decisions. And one of the quickest ways to find out if you've made the right decision is to check it against the Bible. Check it against the fruit of the Spirit, which again, you remember back to Sunday school, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. If the choices that you make are leading you into depression and rage and confusion and chaos, maybe you should see about making some different choices, or check to see how you can respond now that you have made those choices. Because we all do make them. I make them a lot. Some people make them more than others. Some people make a lot of right decisions and then they make some big bad ones. It is because of God's great love that we are not consumed. His compassion never fails. It is new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Lamentations 3:22 through 23. Great is your faithfulness to us and to your promises. Whenever we do make those mistakes, make those poor choices, we can ask for forgiveness. And that is not an excuse to purposefully do bad, but you're just figuring out your way in the world, just like everyone else. It sometimes means that you have to make mistakes. And in fact, that always means that you have to make mistakes. Nobody has ever not made mistakes. There's nobody alive who has made the correct decision every single time. There's not even anybody alive who has made the correct decision most of the time. No, we all make mistakes. What separates believers from the unbelievers is what you do after you make those mistakes. What sets you apart when you make a mistake and it's not producing the fruit of the Spirit? And even if you're not a believer, even if you're not a Christian, you have to at least accept that the fruit of the Spirit is a good thing. I mean, who doesn't like feeling loved, feeling joy, having peace, being patient, or people being patient with you, being kind, things being good, experiencing faithfulness, being gentle, and holding self-control. Even if you are the least Christian person alive, you have to concede that those are nice, even if for purely selfish reasons. That's the thing, is that the goodness of the Bible, the teachings of the Bible, they're not just for the believers. They're a good way to live, even if you never step foot inside of a church. Now, I continue to make mistakes, make the wrong choice, but over these past few months, I've been actively trying to weigh my choices, actively trying to make small little improvements, baby steps. It's become my motto. Do you have the humility to admit your mistakes, to admit the decisions that you have made that have not bore any fruit? Proverbs 22 verse 4 tells us that humility is the fear of the Lord, and its wages are riches and honor and life. When you admit your wrongs and when you humble yourself, you receive honor, riches, and true life. And I found that to be true. I've made plenty of mistakes, and the ones that I have recognized, I have humbled myself and admitted that I made the wrong decision. Sometimes I've made the wrong decision multiple times in a row, repeatedly, habitually. One of my all-time favorite books of the Bible is Titus. It's a small book. It's an easy read. It is a collection of letters from a father to his son on how you should be. And I'll be the first to admit that there are some outdated ideas in there, ways that husbands treated their wives in the day, or the way that women were thought of. I'll be the first to admit that some of those are an affect of the culture. Reading through Titus feels really good to look at that sharp, poignant guidance from a fatherly figure, someone who was very wise. I don't know about you, but I once had a strong dream and desire to become a father, become a parent. I still do have that dream. I've just packed it in further. Titus 2:7 reads, "In everything set them an example by doing what is good. In your teachings show integrity and seriousness." And one of the ways that I think is important to set an example for your children, for your future children, I talk about living like a husband before you have a spouse. I think that part of being a husband is to be ready to be a father. And what better way to be ready to be a father than to be constantly setting an example? It is in these small actions that we see the most good, especially since they have become far less common. Taking the time to express to somebody that you're sorry, to express to somebody that you didn't mean to hurt them, to express your love and adoration for someone. I want to challenge you to do two things today. I want you to find one mistake or wrong decision that you have made, and then find one small step that you can make today towards correcting that mistake. If you hurt somebody, apologize. Send a little message. If you've betrayed someone's trust, do something trustworthy. If you've procrastinated, do one small step, one small action on that thing you've procrastinated on. And as you take these small steps, remember to be kind to yourself. They may seem small, but as Gandalf says, Saruman believes that it is only great power that can keep evil in check. But that is not what I have found. I've found it is the small things, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay. Simple acts of kindness and love. Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps it is because I am afraid, and he gives me courage. So be kind to yourself, to others. Be loving, be joyous, be peaceful, be patient, be good, be faithful, be gentle, and have self-control. Because I love you, and God loves you more. Have a blessed day.